The Sony A7R series has always been about one thing: the uncompromising pursuit of detail. But as we stand in 2026, the landscape of professional photography hasn't just shifted, it has been completely rewritten. For years, the R stood for resolution, a sanctuary for landscape and studio photographers who needed every single pixel to breathe life into their prints. But the rumors swirling around the Sony A7R VI suggest a pivot so massive, it might just retire the concept of niche cameras forever. We aren't just talking about a bump in megapixels or a slightly faster processor. We're talking about the birth of a medium format killer that fits in the palm of your hand. This is the camera that aims to bridge the gap between the surgical precision of a Phase 1 and the frantic, high-speed world of the Sony A7R series. If you've been holding onto your A7R V, waiting for a reason to finally break the bank, the specifications leaking out of Sony's manufacturing hubs in early 2026 aren't just an invitation. They're a warning to the rest of the industry. Welcome back to my channel Tech Rivet for exclusive insights into the future of tech. Subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon for more tech updates. Now, let's get into the heart of this beast. The most explosive revelation involves the sensor architecture itself. For the first time in the high-resolution R line, Sony is reportedly moving away from a traditional back-illuminated sensor to a partially stacked CMOS design. Why does this matter to you? In the past, high resolution meant slow readouts. If you wanted 60-plus megapixels, you had to accept rolling shutter and sluggish burst rates. But the A7R VI is rumored to feature a staggering 80.2 megapixel stack sensor. This isn't just about size, it's about the sheer velocity of data. By stacking the memory directly onto the sensor, Sony is effectively removing the bottleneck that has plagued high-res cameras for a decade. Imagine capturing 80 megapixel files at 30 frames per second with full 14-bit raw depth. This transforms the A7R VI from a slow, methodical landscape tool into a legitimate sports and wildlife powerhouse. You no longer have to choose between the speed of an A9 or the detail of an A7R. Sony is giving you both, and in doing so, they're making every other high-megapixel camera on the market look like a relic of the past. But the sensor is only half the story. To process 80 million pixels 30 times a second requires a level of computational power we haven't seen in a mirrorless body. This is where the Bion's XR2 processor comes in. This next-generation engine isn't just faster, it is smarter. Sony is doubling down on skeletal prediction, AI. We've seen AI autofocus that tracks eyes and birds, but the 2026 iteration is designed to predict human movement based on the orientation of the shoulders and hips. Even if your subject turns their back or disappears behind an obstacle, the A7R VI knows exactly where that eye is going to reappear. For wedding photographers working in chaotic environments or commercial directors shooting high-fashion motion, this level of reliability is the difference between a winning shot and a wasted day. And for those who think 80 megapixels isn't enough, the improved pixel shift multi-shooting mode is expected to utilize the new 8.5-stop in-body image stabilization to create 320 megapixel composites with even better motion compensation. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: video. For a long time, the A7R series was the still's first camera, often crippled by overheating or severe crops in 8K. That ends in 2026. The A7R VI is leaked to support uncropped 8K 60p video, pulling from that massive 80MP canvas to provide a level of oversampled sharpness that will make 4K look soft. More importantly, the stacked sensor architecture drastically reduces rolling shutter, meaning those cinematic pans will actually look cinematic, not like Jell-O. Sony is also rumored to be including 10-bit 4:2:2 internal recording across all formats, with the inclusion of S-Cinetone and S-Log3 as standard. But the real pro move here is the potential for 10K oversampling. By utilizing the full width of the sensor, the A7R VI can capture 10K worth of data and downsample it to the most pristine 8K footage ever seen in a consumer-grade body. It's a hybrid dream that finally justifies the flagship price tag. The physical build of the camera is also seeing its first major redesign in years. We are expecting a slightly larger grip to accommodate a new dual-layer cooling system, necessary for those high bitrate 8K sessions, and a 9.44 million EVF that refreshes at 240 Hz. This means when you look through the viewfinder, you aren't looking at a screen. You're looking at reality in real time, with zero lag. Sony is also moving toward a CF Express Type B and SD 4.0 hybrid slot system to handle the massive data throughput of the new sensor. Every aspect of this camera is being engineered to remove friction. Whether it's the redesigned menu system that uses AI to surface the settings you use most, or the move to a more robust weather sealing gasket, the A7R VI is being built as a tool for the most demanding environments on Earth. As we look toward the late 2026 release window, the question isn't whether the A7R VI will be a good camera. The question is whether it will make the Sony A7R too redundant. By offering higher resolution, comparable speed, and superior AI autofocus, Sony is effectively competing with itself. For the USA market, where high-end commercial work and high-production value YouTube content are king, the A7R VI represents the ultimate investment. It is a future-proof machine that ensures your work remains relevant even as 8K displays become the standard. The price is rumored to sit around $4,499, which is a steep entry point, but when you consider it replaces both a high-resolution studio camera and a high-speed action body, the value proposition starts to look incredible. This is the 2026 revolution. This is the moment where the limits of full-frame sensors are pushed to their absolute breaking point. If these specs hold true, the Sony A7R VI won't just be the best camera of the year. It will be the benchmark for the next decade of imaging technology. Stick around as we continue to track every leak, every patent, and every rumor leading up to the official launch, because the era of 80 megapixel speed is finally here.